All right, it's great to have you here today, and I have the perfect station set up to get your backswing looking really good. It's going to solve two problems. Number one problem I see is players getting the club too far inside in the backswing, and that causes them to get steep on the downswing and start to kind of come down over the top, really not getting it in the slot like we want to have. And number two is getting that good full turn, making sure that our hands go up, we have tons of power, and maybe you're not very flexible. Maybe you feel a little bit stiff, a little bit tight. Well, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks to get that good full backswing. Let's go and get started. All right, so the way I'm going to set up this drill is I'm going to go ahead and pick my target in the distance. I've come back behind my target. I've lined my club up with the direction I'm going to hit it. Now I want to put this club about a foot and a half behind my golf ball. That way if I make a practice swing, I'm not going to hit the butt end of this club as I'm starting back. Now from there, I've set my angle, the lie angle of my club, just on this club on the ground, like I was going to hit on that. So the sweet spot of my club is right over top of the shaft, and I've set the lie angle of this stick, or the angle of this stick I put in the ground, at the same angle of my club. So technically, if I was to bring this club back kind of perfectly on plane, so I get lined up well here, I bring it back perfectly on plane, it would be right on that stick, and my club would be pointing right to my target there now. Now I could be off a couple millimeters here or there, but it's just the general idea. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a backswing where we feel like our hands, and this is actually a big misconception. When I want to bring the club a little bit more out, I don't want to get it sucked back into the inside and doing this. I want to make sure that the hands go a little bit in and the club head stays out. A lot of times I'll see players try to pick that club head up, their hands go out, and what ends up happening is, yeah, the hands go out, but the club still goes in. So a lot of times if you're bringing this club inside, it doesn't mean that you're bringing your hands inside. A lot of times it can be the opposite of that. Your hands can be going out this direction, and the club can be the one getting sucked in. Well, there's momentum in the golf swing. And a lot of times we think, well, I don't want to get steep, so I need to bring it more inside. I need to get it in the slot. I'm going to do that in the backswing. But if you do that, if you do this mistake like we're talking about here, the momentum of this club gets deep, and then as you change direction, the momentum wants it to swing back steeper, back more over the top. So the more you go inside in the backswing, the more that kicks the club on top in the downswing. We want to reverse that. That way it makes it easier to get in the slot and shallow that club out. So again, here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to set up to my golf ball here. I'm going to make my backswing. I'm going to pause when my club's parallel to the ground. And I want to see just like that. My hands are slightly inside this stick. My club head is slightly outside this stick. And I'm exaggerating a little bit here. But to be honest, the number of people that I see that overdo this in the backswing is very, very few. I rarely see anybody do that. I see tons of players do way too much of this though, and then come that way. So we're going to do that about 5 times. And I'm really going to feel in that backswing, hands in, club out. Now on the downswing, I'm going to go real slow here. I'm checking it. In the downswing, I'm going to let that change the opposite direction. So now my hands can go ahead and come out a little bit, and that club, the momentum of that club wants to swing under, get more from the inside. Now, I don't want you to hit golf balls doing this. I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. I'm a trained professional, as they say on TV. So don't hit golf balls doing this. It's so easy to accidentally just clip this stick in the downswing, and that thing's gonna shoot into your leg or come into your eye. You definitely don't want to do that. I'm gonna do that here. Again, I don't want you to do this at home. Do not hit golf balls doing this, but I want to show you that this drill can work in a real golf swing. That's something that is important to understand. You don't have to do it for yourself, but it's important to understand that this can work, and you can actually, it would be possible to hit good shots making this type of a drill, even though you don't want to do it with the actual stick there. Let's go ahead and try one out here. There we go, nice and solid. Just 5 feet to the right of where I was aimed. Pretty nice shot. So again, you definitely don't want to hit any swings. You don't want to hit any golf balls doing this drill. It's way too dangerous doing that. But I wanted to show you that this is actually a plane and a motion that can work. Now the second part of this is the backswing piece, the power. If you want to hit with some power, you have to load up the shoulders. So I have to get my shoulders turning. I have to get my body loading up. And in order to get as easy as power as possible, especially if I'm a little bit tighter, I have to let my hips rotate more and I have to let my hands go up. A good easy way to add 5 to 10 miles or 5 to 10 yards to your drives, 5 or 10 yards to your irons, is by thinking about those hands being a Ferris wheel, so coming straight up and down, and that club being a Ferris wheel, so my club head going, that's the visual, it's not really what's happening, but in the backswing I want to visualize my club being a Ferris wheel, coming straight over my head, and now all of a sudden this club travels a little bit longer, my hands travel a little bit longer in the backswing, and I have a little extra time in the downswing to accelerate. Now, if I think of it more of a merry-go-round, eventually as I go to the inside, again, not only am I going to have a tendency to get more in here where I don't want to be, as my hands go around my body, my chest gets in the way, especially if you're not super flexible, it gets really tight. Now all of a sudden my hands are way down here, I have a lot less time versus up here to accelerate the club. Now I found most players can easily elevate their arms, and a great test for this is if you just stand straight up and down, put your arms out to in front of your body. If you can lift your arms up above your head, well, I can lift my club up vertically above my head here. If you have a shoulder issue and you can only lift your arms to here, you can't go on up, then you may have to be a little bit more across your body. But again, I find very few players that's really an issue with it. So now I'm going to do a couple more of these practice swings, and not only am I going to focus on the club head staying outside my hands, I'm going to imagine it going straight up. I'm going to imagine me getting this big full turn here and getting a lot of power. Now again, you want to do this in your practice swings, get comfortable with that, and you're going to remove this stick. Definitely, I can't reiterate it enough, it's a very dangerous drill, and you don't want to do that. I do not recommend that for anybody, to hit balls with that stick there, because you could easily, again, whack that stick and it could stick in your head, your eye, your leg. Lots of bad things could happen with that drill. So I got the feeling of it now, and now I'm just going to go ahead and complete that backswing, get my hands nice and high, and I get an extra few yards of distance. There we go, hit that one well. Now there's another piece to this if we want to square up the club and get that nice draw. If you're wanting to get from the inside, the last thing you want to do is have that face hold open, and now at contact my face is pointing way out to the right. Well, all of a sudden I'm from the inside, my face is open, that ball is going to go right of right. What we have to learn to do is to square up the face properly by using the proper wrist mechanics here. I have to rotate my wrist in a very specific way that the pros are doing this, and I can't reiterate enough, you're going to want to learn this. You're going to want to know how to square this up. This is one of the secrets to playing fantastic golf. I have a great bonus video for you. It's called the tennis racket drill. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to square those wrists up, how to square this face up early, just like the pros are doing. I'm going to play a preview of that here in a second. All you need to do is go ahead and click the card that pops up on the screen. If you don't see that card, don't worry. Go down to the description below, click the link there, and you'll get instant access. I can't wait to show you the tennis racket drill. Let's go ahead and get started right now. Good player problems. We're going to talk about shallowing that club shaft out as we're starting down, as we're doing this rotating of the face that we worked on in the last video. As we start this downswing, what you'll see with basically all of the top players is, instead of coming kind of over the top and letting the hands come out away from their body, letting the club come out away from their body, again coming down steep into the ball and then having to open up, kind of fillet open the face and add loft to it, the flattening of the shaft should happen as soon as we start down. So as we start this downswing, what we want to have happening here, you can imagine that if I draw a line from the hosel of my club up through my right elbow, that's my swing plane line, my elbow plane. As I go to the top of the swing, I'm going to be slightly above that. And then as I start down, I want my hands to start to shallow out. I want the club to shallow out inside of this elbow plane. And at the same time, I'm going to be